Howdy. Howdy to you. Awesome. Oh man, I wish I could read your screen name. It's so cool. Which class were you in? You look familiar. Maybe we crossed paths at Starbucks. Well, from that statement, I'm guessing you're either prior agency or you're a barista. Either way, probably not, because I always drank the office coffee because I was poor and I had a federal job that was pretty low on the GS scale. So I didn't drink the Starbucks coffee. So you probably didn't see me in there. But anyway, thanks for the question. Subject line career. Hello, I'm a college student looking to work in the CIA one day. I was wondering if you could answer a few questions I had about this. That's it. Yes, I can answer your questions. What are they? You have to tell me what they are, and yes, I will try to answer them if I can, and if I can't, I'll explain to you why I can't. Phone interview. Hi, agency agent. I'm looking to interview someone who works in CIA analysis this week for about 10 minutes. I think you worked in clandestine services based on your AMA, but I'm flexible. Maybe you know someone as well. Name would be desirable but not required. Main questions would be, how did you find yourself in this job, and best and worst aspects of the job? I know that this information can be found online. I just need an actual interview to complete a school assignment. No, it will not be recorded. Thanks so much. Well, this is being recorded, so I'm talking to you, and if you show your teacher your user profile for Reddit, you can prove that I'm responding to you. So use this video too. You have my permission. Although I guess I'm not an analyst. Man, ouch. I'm going to talk to an analyst over a field guy, huh? That's a tough pill to swallow. Is that what it's come to? I'm curious what level of school you're at right now. Are you in high school or are you in a university? It doesn't really say. That probably would alter how I respond to you. But maybe you don't want my answer. I'll give it to you anyway. It sounds like you want an analyst response. How I found myself in the job is because I wanted to do it, and I applied online. Simple as that. And I heard about it because a recruiter came to my university and gave a speech and said apply online. So that was it. The best and worst aspects. The best part of the job is the field work that you do overseas. I don't know what an analyst is going to tell you. The worst part of the job for me was being in Northern Virginia and working in an office. I didn't like that at all. At all. Hi! Exclamation point. I saw you did an AMA about a year ago. I'm extremely late to the party, and I hope that you don't mind if I ask you some questions. Exclamation point. I've always been interested in working for the FBI or CIA for a while. I just recently graduated, and now I work as an analyst at a small pharmaceutical in, I won't say the state. This past summer, I was in D.C., where I was able to truly immerse myself into the world of politics and government. I thought about going into the Foreign Service and whatnot. I am still looking to take the next big step in my career and to be a part of something bigger than myself. I would love to get more info on how I can get my foot in the door to a career in the CIA or FBI. Exclamation point, thanks, exclamation point. Very excitable. I can't answer. You put a slash between FBI and CIA every time you refer to them. You refer to them uniformly and as a pair each time. They're very different organizations. Sometimes they play along. Most of the times they don't. Yeah, I'm not going to speak for the FBI. I know a lot of guys that work there, but that's not me, and I don't want to piss them off because I haven't done it. So I'm not going to answer that. I'm guessing, though, if you want to get an FBI, it's probably a similar process like any federal government job that's on a GS scale. is that you have to apply online for accountability reasons. So I would encourage you to absolutely do that. Apply online, and that would be step one to get your foot in the door. That's what I did. So prior to that, I mean, I'll say it again, learn a foreign language if you don't know one already. If you know one, learn two. If you know two, learn three. Brush up on the two that you do know. It'll make you an incredible candidate. And then travel as much as you can. And if, by the way, if when I say that, that sounds like a horrible idea to you, don't join. If you really don't like traveling or have no curiosity about other cultures or foreign environments, please don't join. If you think that it's just saber rattling and you're going to go force democracy on other countries around the world, don't join, please. You're the absolute worst person to join. And I'm not saying that to you, person who asked this question. Just anybody in general, if you're watching this and you have that thought, don't join. If you think the opposite and you're immensely curious about the world that you live in, join immediately, please. We need you. Look, if you would rather spend your money on personal effects, a purse or a watch or upgrading your car or whatever it is, I don't know. I don't own a lot of stuff. Or remodeling your kitchen, vice traveling, probably this isn't the lifestyle you want to be part of, because you don't make good money, you make horrible money, and you're not going to be living in a nice place, and you're not going to have, Versace clothing. So like, I don't know, just if you want to do a job like this, you should probably already be in the mindset that you're saving up to go on vacations, because that's what you really enjoy doing and saving up for and spending your money on, is the experience and the story. Anything for a story. Subject line, fake case officer. Your favorite fictional CIA character is James Bond? ? You mean the one that works for MI6? ? LOL. On a serious note, after reading few posts, I can clearly tell that you are living in Fantasyland, thinking that you used to work for CIA. Some of your posts are clear indication that you don't know what you are talking about. No, it's not the rather embarrassing statement that James Bond is your favorite CIA character. It's just a movie. It's the overall lack of knowledge and absolutely ridiculous claims as to what you did. Someone asked you what countries you have worked in, and your response is, I can't tell you, because it's allegedly top secret. However, on the other hand, you can tell people what you did, such as your claim about hunting down IED makers. So, details of your job, quote unquote, around your job, is not secret, but just a vague location. Name of the country is, ? You are so full of poo, it's not even funny. The way you describe things and the terms you use indicate that you are a fraud and you did not, all caps, 100% ever worked for CIA. Do not steal the valor that does not belong to you. Thanks, Dad. Look. Hey, Left to Boom is great so far. Sent a letter to Conan. Hope you get on the show. I don't have any influence, but you never know. I'm guessing Conan, I read that right, and it's not Conan, and that you mean Conan O'Brien. And if you sent him a letter, I don't know what you said. I'm guessing you said I should be on his show, which is cool. I would definitely do that. I generally refuse about 99.9% of the requests I get for interview. Sorry if you're watching this and I've turned you down, but I don't like them. I did some when the book initially came out and I hated it. People told me one thing, and then when it came time for the interview, something very opposite happened. I won't throw anybody under a bus here, but I universally did not like the interviews that I participated in. But yeah, Conan would be cool, man. Maybe, you know, play a little PS4 with Marshawn Lynch or something. That'd be pretty slick. Okay, CIA job. I'm currently in college, but I am undecided major-wise. I want to minor in language, Russian, but I am not sure what to major in if I wanted to join a federal job like the CIA. It's my life goal to get a job as an agent in some federal force. How likely is it to get a job? I read your AMA and it was awesome. Do I need to go to some Ivy League school to even be considered? Great question. I'm glad you asked. No, you do not have to have went to an Ivy League school, but let me just tell you that that was my misconception as well when I first started out. I thought that only if you went to one of the Ivy Leagues would you even be considered. You will be considered based on who you are as a person and your background and a lot of other things, but your merit is not solely upon what you did in college and what the name of that university was and how much it cost to go there. I went to Indiana University, in-state, it was super cheap, and a solid education. It's not Harvard, it's not Yale, but, you know, a lot of my friends that I worked with did come from Harvard and Yale, and great people too, but you don't have to come from there to have the same job. So that's that. As far as how likely it is to get a job, I don't know which one you're applying for. If you're applying to be in the field like I was, a case officer, I have no idea what the acceptance rate is, but I'm pretty positive that every year the CIA publishes how many applications in total they got for the entire agency, and it usually is in the top 5 or at minimum the top 10 for applications worldwide. And that's saying something, right? I mean, that's pretty incredible. So I really like that. That's good news, considering, you know, how much tar gets thrown on the CIA and then the feathers to follow. So yeah, I think that it's you know, it's up there for a reason, and it's why you sent me this message, and it's why you're interested in it. So I don't know the statistics for you. It's probably higher than you think, so don't think it's less than 1%, but I really don't know. But again, there's only one way to find out. You see that that's a common theme of this presentation of everything I've talked about so far. So, you know, you gotta apply. All right, joining CIA. Hello, I just wanted to thank you. Reading your book has inspired me to do everything I can do to join the CIA and make a difference. I am only 17 now, but I'm already trying to figure out what specifically I could do to improve my chances for getting a field position. Oh God, please not analysis. Funny enough, my family has several properties in and around Montezuma, Costa Rica. Smiley face. You're funny, dude. Look, what can you do to improve your chances? Learn that foreign language, travel overseas. I'll keep saying it. If you already speak Spanish, which you probably do based on your family's property ownership, good. If you speak it already, learn a new language, improve upon it. And I don't know, if your family owns a bunch of property in Costa Rica, you probably have the means to travel a lot, so go do that. Costa Rica is pretty touristy. I've been there. Try to get off the beaten path a little bit more. Go to some more obscure countries. That would be pretty cool. But, you know, if you already know one language, learn 2. And if you've been to a lot of countries, go to more, because 2 is 1 and 1 is none, man. Hey there. Hi. I have some questions about applying, if you don't mind. So I'm 30 with a GED and no paper qualifications besides being a driver. Also sold weed for a couple years earlier on in life, but no arrests. Realistically, am I pretty much disqualified here? I honestly don't care about which position. I don't have a social life, so I can be dedicated 100% to work. If by some miracle there is still a chance, what language should I start learning? I can pass for it. I'm not going to say how you could pass for. Um, Thanks in advance. I enjoyed your AMA hilarious answers. Thanks for saying that, dude. And I'm glad that you even took the time to, one, kind of be vulnerable by asking this, because you're telling me some personal stuff that isn't the most, high-fiveable. And you're still trying to see if it's a possibility, knowing that maybe it's not. I mean, yeah, weed, if you've smoked it anytime recently, it's going to be really tough to get in. If you've sold it illegally, well, that's a crime. So you've broken the law, and that's going to really be tough to get through a polygraph if you've actually legitimately sold marijuana illegally. I don't know what state you live in, but that could kind of be a big deal. So my first response to you would be this: if you have sold marijuana illegally, or done anything else illegally, sold any other type of drugs, or taken illegal drugs, do not apply. Because if you're submitted to a polygraph and you admit to a crime while speaking to a federal employee, you can be prosecuted for that crime. So my answer, I guess, to you, man, I hope I don't squash your dreams, but very likely you should not apply, because I don't want to see anything bad happen to you. So sorry, dude, but there probably is other stuff out there if you're looking to serve. I mean, you go to a recruiting office and see how they feel about your background. I know the military's not going to give you a polygraph, at least to start with, right? So probably that's an option. I mean, very honorable. I don't know what police requirements are. I'm guessing you can't have sold marijuana to be a cop, but I've never wanted to be a cop, so I don't know. Anyway, I wish you the best of luck, man. It sounds like you want to do stuff. I hate to hear you don't have a social life. Like, I don't know. Like, I would almost want to give you more recommendations on how to get out and socialize more. And maybe you don't like it. Maybe you don't feel comfortable around people. But steps at a time, brother. Try starting with that first. Everybody needs a friend. Employment question. These are all employment questions. I get it. Good evening, agency agent. I was hoping you could answer a few quick questions in regards to employment at either the agency or if you have the knowledge of the Bureau. See, there's a theme here. A short background: I am a younger individual who graduated with high grades from college in 2 majors, one of which being a target major for both organizations. I am athletic, work for law enforcement, currently work for a government agency applying my targeted major, and am learning Russian. My goal has been to join one of their ranks. My issue is that I got into smoking marijuana while in college, and I realized I enjoyed it more than I did the destructive nature of drinking. This obviously conflicts with both organizations. I plan on applying to either just the agency or the Bureau as well after I obtain my years of experience and a certain worthwhile accolade from my current job that would prove extreme proficiency in my targeted major. With the imminent changes in marijuana in mind, how do you believe my future applications will be affected by my smoking habits? Great question, dude. But here's the number one thing. This is the bee's knees that you have to understand. Federally, if the federal government says it's a crime, you're trying to work for a federal organization, both in the Bureau and the CIA, so you've broken the law. If all 50 states legalize it, it does not matter. You're still breaking the law. And until it's no longer federally criminalized, you're breaking the law, and it really hurts your chances as a candidate. And you have to go sober. Is that what you call it when you smoke weed? I haven't smoked weed. I don't know. Do you call it getting sober? I mean, I've been drunk 1,000 times. You get sober. I guess you get sober from weed. You dry out. I don't know what you call it. Well, you got to dry out for an extended period. You have to not have smoked weed for a really long time, to the point where I used to work in drug enforcement, unfortunately. Or fortunately, hell, it was a good job. I'm glad I did it. But I worked in drug enforcement in college, and I used to do a lot of urinalysis. Your urine would have to be absolute zeros, and I know how long it takes for it to get out of your urine. So that needs to be at pure zeros. And you're not going to beat the agency with faking them with somebody else's pee or some silly stuff like that. So don't even think about that. That's just dumb. If you're smoking a lot, I know that your THC levels raise each time you smoke, and you're basically just setting yourself behind the 8 ball further and further each time you do it. If you want to smoke weed, man, smoke weed. Do whatever you want. I'm the kind of guy that stuff doesn't affect me one way or the other. But I do understand what the laws are, and I always understood that. That's why I've still never smoked weed. I got nothing against it. It's just, I knew that if I had, there was going to be this long stand-down period where I wouldn't have been able to do what I wanted to do, so I chose not to do it. If you, like, for instance, are watching this and you're smoking right now, well, do the math backwards from today of how long it's going to be before you can even apply. Because even if, let's say the stand down of smoking weed, I don't know, I haven't looked. Go online, I guarantee they tell you what the regulations are. It used to be a lot longer when I applied, but let's say, for instance, it says you can't have smoked weed for 6 months. I don't know what it is, but let's say it says that. And you apply today while smoking a joint on an SF-86 form, and you don't go into your interview for 7 months, you still have broken the law because you lied on a federal form, on your SF-86 form, and you were not sober, or whatever you want to call it, clean at that time. So it has to be from the moment you submit that form to the federal government, not when your actual interviews take place. So if you're smoking weed right now, go online. If you're high, go online right now. Look at how long it takes, how long the agency or the bureau say that you have to have been without having smoked marijuana, and work it backwards from there of when you can actually fill out the forms and apply. That's the best answer I can give you. If you think you're going to continue smoking weed while you work there, that's at your own peril. I'm sure there are people who do. Once they get in, they probably might go right back to it. But I mean, if you're drug tested and you're there and you're smoking weed, you're probably going to get fired, I would have to think. I don't know, but I want to take the chance. The other part here, you say, after I obtained my years of experience, how to love the internet. First, you don't know me from Eve, and all I know of you is what I read in your book and your love of Russian blues, but here goes. Thank you for writing Left of Boom. Made some things in my own relationship easier to deal with. I am involved with a CW2 Intel type, so his work is off limits for discussion. As badly as I want to be there for him, help with the load, I can't. Also reading the bit of your ex's diary. I could have written that myself, but our lives and perspectives are different. I've made the decision that I am okay with not knowing. He cares, I care, and we support each other. So fuck it if it isn't conventional. I have no idea why I'm pouring this out to a stranger. I apologize. I think, well, I hope of all people you might get it, because my friends sure as hell don't and aren't very supportive. I hope you and that gorgeous cat are doing fabulously, and if you would ever allow a stranger from Nebraska to buy you a beer, I will be in D.C. and then you tell when. And yes, most of my Reddit history is rather deviant, LOL. Cool message. Thank you for sending that. I'm glad that you got something out of the human side that I included in the book. To be honest with you, a lot of people hated that part, which was, I knew they would, because they just couldn't understand and they couldn't relate. And so, here you are telling me that you do understand and you do relate because you're living it. And so, it's tough, isn't it? It's really tough. And whatever I tell you isn't going to change it. It's not going to have your significant other open up to you anymore because they can't. And that's just the nature of it. So it sounds like you've come to terms with that, which is the best thing you can do, because if you haven't, life's going to be hell. But if you can come to terms with not knowing all the time what your significant other is doing, but just trusting them, which is the most important part, then I think you guys would be okay. And don't worry about your friends. They don't know. They don't know what this is like. They can never understand. And it's not their fault. Don't hold it against them. They haven't been in this type of situation, and it's a super weird situation to be in, or believe that it's real. I mean, most people think it's only in the movies, but it's not. It's very real. And for you, it's very personal. So, yeah, hang in there and just have the conversation with your significant other and tell that person, like, yo, I get it. Here are the things I do need, though. I do need a no X. 10 months abroad in total. I returned mostly because I wanted to work for the organization. I assume you mean the CIA. God knows I never wanted to return to the middle of nowhere that is Indiana. My goal since I was a child was to escape Indiana, especially since I enjoyed being overseas. From your book, I know you understand what that feeling is like. Holy crap, this is long. It is going on 4 years now that nothing has happened. No callbacks, interviews, etc. I've spoken with several recruiters, all of which have been impressed and promised a callback but never came. Been to the career fairs. I am currently working on a graduate degree, even though it is most likely going to be reduced to a graduate certificate. Quite frankly, I can't afford the graduate program without assistance. I'm sorry, dude. Everything I've done has been to work for the organization as an officer. It is an odd and uncomfortable feeling to know that there's a job out there that you know you would be excellent at and could greatly benefit your country, but that you are being smokescreened by people in a process that does not recognize that. My question is this: do you have any advice that might help increase my chances of getting picked up? Yes, I do, based on what you just said. I apologize for bothering you with something that you probably do not want to deal with, but I am trying to enlist help wherever I can. You're not bothering me. And I'm happy to answer your question because you took the time to type a very long description of yourself. And you're a fellow Hoosier. First, let me say that I don't know, well, I can estimate how old you are. Let's see, you're probably, okay, that would make you, okay, I know how old you are. By this point, you're probably still at the stage where you say you never want to return to the middle of nowhere that is Indiana. And your goal was to escape Indiana. I invite you to look around me right now. I'm in Ohio. I'm right on the Indiana border right now, in the middle of nowhere, in a park. This is where I like spending my time. I work a lot in Los Angeles and New York, and that's for work. But when I have time for me and time that I don't have to work, I come back here. But I was like you, and I also hated this part of the country. I think most people are like that. It's always grass is greener on the other side, and I always wanted to get to a big city, and then once I got to a big city, I wanted to go overseas, and then I went overseas, and then, it's one thing after another until really I realized it's pretty good where I came from. Really proud of where I came from. Love this area, love the people. It has its flaws like any other place does, but this is who I am. This is ingrained in me, and I imagine if you were born and raised in Indiana, you're a Hoosier for life. It's part of your character, and probably a lot of your family still lives there. Your folks probably still live there, maybe your grandma and grandpa, so it was a major influence on how you were raised and what type of person you are today, for better or for worse. So who knows how you'll feel when you get my age. I'm 34 years old now, and probably didn't come to this realization until only a few years ago. Probably when I hit 30 and left the agency did I start to kind of sit down and really think about what I want to do and who I wish to become. And what I mean by that is not occupationally who I wish to become, but just what type of person I want to be. Do I want to be the guy who's constantly swimming upstream still, in a sea of people, or do I actually like being in the country where it's pretty quiet, and you can sit in the park and not be screwed with. I know that idiot behind me was doing jumping jacks, trying to steal the show earlier. That's why I tilted the camera a little bit, but So think about that. You may come to the conclusion that I did after a while, that you actually like being from here. Um, Maybe not. I don't know. You probably will always feel the way you feel now until you have gotten out of the bubble and experienced what you feel it is you need to experience, so that you can come to the conclusion that it's kind of always right in front of you all along. But you'll never see what is right in front of you like that until you have done it. So I get it. I understand why you want to get out. And it sounds like you have a fierce desire to do so. Howdy. Howdy to you. Awesome. Oh man, I wish I could read your screen name. It's so cool. Which class were you in? You look familiar. Maybe we crossed paths at Starbucks. Well, from that statement, I'm guessing you're either prior agency or you're a barista. Um, Either way, probably not, because I always drank the office coffee because I was poor and I had a federal job that was pretty low on the GS scale. So I didn't drink the Starbucks coffee. So you probably didn't see me in there. But anyway, thanks for the question. Subject line career. Hello, I'm a college student looking to work in the CIA one day. I was